Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, I want to welcome everyone to Crashing Game Night. My name is Matt Tuario, your host. As always, I am joined by our current reigning Monopoly champion.
Say it loud.
I'm
proud, baby. What's up, champ?
Our version of Lone Star, Gerard Barrera.
Hey, man, I'll take that. I just saw Spaceballs, dude. Nice reference, bro. I love it. See,
oh, just wait. It's gonna get better.
Oh no! I was about to say. Hey, what's up, all my nerds? How you guys doing? Good to hear from. Good to see you. Good to hear from you. Good to listen, talk to you. Hope you all have had a wonderful day and week so far. And what's up?
And we are missing our version of Prince Valium, as he's off gallivanting, trying to win a tournament in good old Philly.
There would be a high chance that Theo would like yawn too.
Yep. I mean, that's okay. Awesome. Hold on. Prior to you getting the whole sleep thing figured out, you were our Prince Valium. Dead on.
Okay. That's fair. That was fair. So, totally fair.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, rounding out tonight, we have the man with the couch. Our version of yogurt sitting over there, trying to figure out how to come up with Crashing Game Night the cereal and Crashing Game Night the flamethrower. Our maitre d' services, the Lion's Mane, Jason Bolidio.
How's it going, guys? How's it going? You know, it's not that far off, bro.
That's right. Don't forget to use the Schwartz.
Yeah, it's not that far off, man.
Thanks to you. Awesome. I was thinking that I had some great power, but no, it was just a ring out of a Cracker Jack box.
So how's everybody doing? How's everybody been so far?
Hot.
It's been a little hot for us in Cali.
I guess it's post-hurricane weather, I guess, you know?
Yeah, I guess.
But, hey.
Our sort of hurricane weather,
from West Coast to East Coast. You know,
yeah, well, we got hit by the rain bands from the storm that hit the Gulf down in by Texas and came up. So we had quite a bit of rain and
wow.
Interesting.
Real quick though, thoughts go out to those of our listeners out in Florida. I've got family out there in Florida as well. Stay safe.
The young kids like to say Florida.
And like more Southern California and San Diego, because the hurricane affected more of that area and not so much like the inland like us or like Long Beach. Like, I mean, we really just had a day of rain, which is
rain and wind.
Yeah.
That's it.
But
but others were very unfortunate. So
Hurricane Idalia is strengthened to a Category 2. They're forecasting it could be a 3 or a 4 by the time it hits land later on tonight, early in the morning tomorrow. As we record this. So please,
where is that? Whereabouts is that?
Tallahassee is
middle of Florida.
Where it's going to be Tampa, Orlando, Tallahassee, and then it's going to be moving up into Georgia, just below Atlanta, and right on up the South Carolina coast and North Carolina coast. So, and there is another major storm brewing out in the Atlantic, way offshore right now, but we don't know what'll happen with that one. Some models are showing that this hurricane, it's going to go up and then potentially might turn around and come back right.
Yeah,
double take.
I heard about
the boomerang. Get the boomerang.
Which
you
if
get
that
hit
happens,
once, you get hit a second time. You know?
Well, I mean, something like that's not fun to deal with, because here in Colorado, back in summer 2014, so right before we all met at E3, we had some massive rain here in Colorado because the storm came through and then decided to back itself back and then park.
Was that the? Didn't you guys have like some major floods, like on some?
Yeah, it was greater. It was
I think I remember that
1,000-year flood, and
that's
it destroyed, part of the town I live in now, my old hometown. Also, in order to save an entire town and to basically not have a massive breach of a dam, they had to open up a dam and ended up doing massive damage. And it was just a ton and ton of rain and whatnot. So
I so want to do a pun right
I
there. Massive damage. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That,
dude, nobody gives me the raspberry. Nobody. Just saying. This is now.
Oh my God. That was terrible.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh my God.
Oh my.
See what you did there, bro.
See what you did there, bro.
Yeah, well, maybe we'll just catch you playing with your dolls again. I love Spaceballs. That is such a classic.
Oh yeah.
Mel Brooks film.
That's the other thing. That's one of the other movies that always reminds me of one of the actors. Like, oh man, if they were still alive, what movies would they have been in? Is John Candy. I always think about that. Him and Chris Farley. Like I always think, like, what if Chris Farley was involved in Hangover in some way? Like, oh my God. Right? Right? I mean,
would we have gotten a better movie?
Who knows? But I mean, yeah, man,
So,
just it's so interesting. But I think about that stuff whenever I see
and that's the
those
thing.
old
I was
movies.
looking, and that was the thing is I came across TikTok today that was showing like what the actors looked like from Police Academy, 40 years later,
Man,
and how many we actually lost,
yeah,
over the years. And it's like
Gutenberg still looks pretty good.
Yeah,
He still looks good. Yeah,
but it's just like you look at all the movies over the years and how many fantastic actors we've been able to witness.
Yeah,
over the even going back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s,
but now it's kind of weird that like kids today are like referring to the 90s as like research material, like, oh man, look at this is crazy. Like,
I mean, even look still, at the last I know we're going way off topic than we normally do, but even the last 5 years, like the evolution of what can and can't be
it's skyrocketed,
like
dude.
Okay, let me put it this way.
It's skyrocketed to it's all completely different.
Yeah.
The movies
I get that. I get seeing that as like a reference material as like our childhood would be, but it's just kind of insane of like you see an early 90s film and you're like, okay, like I remember that was hilarious, and then you see it if you're like, oh dude, I wonder what it'd be like today, and it's just like,
oh, it'd be completely different. Yeah,
or like
there would be some scenes or dialogue that wouldn't even happen.
Yeah, that wouldn't even.
Prime example is Night at the Roxbury.
Oh, that movie probably wouldn't even be made.
Yeah,
no, it wouldn't.
No.
But
what were you going to say before, Matt?
I was just going to say, you look at like, your reference, right? It's being used as material, right? I even look at, we have a radio station, Cool 105 out here in Denver, that is like, it's always been the oldies station, right? So like when I was growing up in high school, it was playing 50s and 60s, early 60s music.
Yeah.
Now it's playing 90s and early 2000s. Like I put it on the other day and they're playing Poker Face by Lady Gaga. I'm like, wow, bro. Are we really that old already? It
hurts. It hurts a little bit. It really does hurt. Yeah.
But then again, you go back and you listen to that music, and it's like, for me, I will never get tired.
I honestly, I appreciate it more now. Even the movies too. Like now that I'm watching some of the movies that like I thought were, well, I still think are super ridiculous, but now I kind of see them like, man, but it really does represent the era now. Like, man, that really was 2001, like watching an action movie that was just like, oh man, the CGI was so questionable, like even back then. But like even now, like, ooh, like it looks bad, but I love it. I love it.
but that's the thing though, is right. It's like you look at that era, right? The 80s, 90s, and all that. It's been like a time capsule. Really, because you can go back and still enjoy a lot of those movies because of how they were made. Some of them still hold up to time. Like, regardless
even
of the
even the
era, but
90s, like that,
Yeah.
I think that's why the 90s and 80s are getting more like the nostalgia is getting more heavier, and even bleeding into the 90s, I think, because I think more and more people are kind of appreciating like how the filmmaking was back then, where
Not
like
just
there
everything in
wasn't that
general.
much.
just everything.
Yeah,
music,
everything in general,
everything
really.
was.
Yeah.
Because I mean, why would they
from
be
a
making?
filmmaker's view, like a lot of people comment on, man, they really didn't use a lot of CGI. They did a lot of
No, it
camera
was all
work,
practical.
and yeah, and I like that the younger generation is getting the word out on practical, because I think a lot of people are
But in
trying
some
that
cases, in some cases, they don't get it either, right? They don't
Or-
understand
right.
a lot of it. And but I think to that point though, is you just look as a whole, right? Is it's the decade that generally the fashions start coming back. You know, the 80s and early
now.
90s.
Oh man, oh
Like,
they're getting
please don't.
influenced like
Dude,
crazy
like,
now.
you know, in Clueless, the shoes that Lisa Silverstone wears, like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Those are now all of a sudden starting to make a huge comeback. Like
Oh, my
Target's got a
goodness.
bunch of different different variants of them and stuff. There's just something to be said about those classic movies, right? We can go back and we can watch Spaceballs and
Well, I mean, like classic
Men in
movies,
Tights
classic
and-
games. That's why there's making
Right?
so many remakes, so many remasters
Yeah.
of games that we really don't need to have like remastered and remade. Because honestly,
But it's really to get it to the next generation and see
Yeah,
how
but-
it hits. But once again,
but let's get
original.
like Chrono Trigger, right?
Let's get some original
Chrono-
IP. You know,
Chrono deserves a remake. You know,
I mean, it did get that like small kind of touch up on the PlayStation when it had that anthology or
part of the anthology edition. It came
yeah,
with
that two
was
game
it with 5? I think it was.
Yeah, I forget what it was with, but
Yeah, but I know which one you're talking about,
you know
right?
what I'm
And-
talking about, or is that two? And they pretty much just added cutscenes to when they had those long
Yeah, they made the
dialogues.
like the DS version, right? They had the cutscenes and stuff, and they added
Yeah,
that
it's
all
like
in,
it
but-
wasn't something that like it
Mhm.
just enhanced the game, you know, but it kept everything 8-bit polygonal, like
No, it was
OG.
16-bit, sir.
Oh, 16,
16-bit. It was on the Super Nintendo.
16-bit polygonal, but you know, maybe a little bit of
Mhm.
like background touch-ups here and there, but
I would love it to get the Octopath Traveler
I don't I mean
Stream.
like it'll
Legends of
just be the
Dragoon.
same game, just the only difference is that it'd be another
Dragoon.
$50 game that just looks the same,
I think
Is the
Legend of
same.
Dragoon is one.
you know,
Yeah.
like there's not much they can really do to make it better, you know, like
That is why
it's
I still
classic.
have this bad boy, so I can sit there and play Chrono Trigger.
But I mean, like you can't mess with perfect, kind of, in a way, you know.
No,
like,
because honestly, that was. But also, you got to think about it, is like at that time, that was the dream team. At
I mean,
that
it's just-
time,
that was OG Square. Like
Yeah.
that Square
Yeah.
soft,
like
you know?
Yeah, that's right.
like not even Square Enix, Square soft.
Squaresoft, and
And
But I would like to
I-
see Legends of Dragoon touched up or brought back. Like, I mean, even
yeah,
maybe a Final
there are
Fantasy
games
like
that, yes,
esque
they
way,
can get
but
the full remaster, the full remake.
yeah.
You know, like we've
And
seen.
I always bring up the other one, Vagrant Story. I always thought that one artistically, I think that if that was retouched up, someone could have a lot of fun with that art, artistry, because it was it looked like it was a kind of a storybook every time. Like it was a cool game.
But then I go back to the whole argument that, and this I use this for like nowadays with them trying to bring back cartoons from the 80s and 90s and wanting to remake movies. Like for a while there was a rumor they were going to remake Back to the Future and Goonies and stuff. It's like, at the same time, as can you not come up with original IP that you have to go back and basically take classics and remake them? Back to the Future.
Of course, the answer is no. But those particular titles have kind of now have gotten the stigma in Hollywood to kind of always get brought up, but not really have any traction.
Yep.
Like there's always rumors, but then like there's never really any traction. And now it's like, oh no, it's a rumor. It's always a rumor. No one.
Mm-hmm.
is going to attempt.
No,
Like,
I
you know.
get that, but they become rumor because somebody tossed the idea around.
Right. And someone wants to try to like throw that
Wants to
out there.
try.
Like,
It's
no.
like,
What are you doing?
You can't touch Goonies. Even though Goonies never say die, but
I mean,
you can't.
the only thing you can do is do like Jumanji and have a continuation of the original. You know, that's fine if you want to have like all the people that are from the Goonies.
I was
like,
fine
all
with
grown
2.
up.
Don't need 3.
You know,
I thought that was a clever. Yes, totally agree with you. I thought that was a clever way they tied the original in, and then that's it.
Yeah,
because the second one was cool, but it got to
like you can't redo it like over and over again. Otherwise, we're going to have another Fantastic Four, and nobody wants another Fantastic Four.
And I think the part of it is that there's in those older movies there's magic.
Oh yeah,
right. There's just something magical about those movies that have them withstand the test of time.
I feel like a lot of it was, I mean, the cast and a lot of it was Robin
but
Williams.
let's cast, but also like just the timing of it too.
But then you look at who was directing a lot of those movies that we're referencing, right? Spielberg, Lucas, John Hughes, like
Ramis. Actually, Ramis,
Harold Ramis.
Harold Ramis is like has a lot of those like rom-coms. Yeah,
may he rest in peace, because
a bunch of movies that
Stripes. Ghostbusters. He wrote those. It's
and
I think.
Do you think those Ghostbusters held up in comparison? It is a good. It is a good.
Example. Dude, they completely they completely hold up because they're strict to the time the time frame. They're strict. They don't allude to what the future is going to be like, or like they stick with where they are. They're in the 80s. It's about ghosts, so it kind of eliminates. Does it hold up today? Like, no, that movie was made in the 80s and it's an 80s movie and you can just enjoy it.
Yes.
I think they did it with the all-female cast. They did the
Afterlife. So here's the thing is, let's separate those, because I think
I have my qualms with the all-girl cast only because I think it was misused. Like, I don't think they were given the chance that they should have been, or they should have been given.
So I have no problems with any of the cast. I'll just say that script was horrible, but
it was too PG. Like the whole thing about, I mean, and the way they incorporate Afterlife, because that was like PG-13-esque. I mean, it was PG-13, but the director that did it really like
Jason Reitman.
Right. So he melded the Stranger Things and like Ghostbusters very well together.
Why did he though? Because he is the son of the original director, Ivan Reitman, and
so he has more of an eye for it.
And he grew up with Ghostbusters. So
and the director who did the all-girl cast movie did Bridesmaids, where it's more like he's more comedic and like kind of slapsticky.
But
he has done other stuff. But what I'm getting to is he incorporated too much of that to the Ghostbusters movie, where they needed to be darker. They needed to be, even just look at the first 2 movies. There are jump scares in those movies, as few as maybe there are, but that was the alluring part. It was kind of dark.
And the one thing, if you want to look at everything all the movies, everything we've referenced, right, is they wouldn't be here without great scripts to tell those stories and the great actors to tell the stories. So studios, pay them so we can get back to good stuff.
Correct.
Like we don't need more reality TV, because right now reality kind of sucks.
That's correct.
Oh my God. We need stuff to escape to and whatnot.
Yeah, no more. We've already had enough. And you know what? Sorry, future generations, because that's our bad. That's part of our generation. We created that. reality
yeah.
TV. Well, yeah, late 90s, real world, road rules.
Thanks a lot, MTV.
MTV, yeah, they started it. Yeah, the TV
Yeah.
really is awful. It really is awful. I really, it's awful.
Anyway, so all right, so let's we're already 20 minutes in, but this is how bad we've gone off rails. We've been talking about
Hey, you
reminiscing
know
about
what?
movies, right?
I mean, it leads
And-
right into what I'd want to talk about is everybody review bombing the hell out of Red Dead Redemption. Why? Because it didn't need to be remade, bro.
Well,
fine.
not
No,
even that.
well,
It was
the
a
way it was
terrible
presented.
port.
Yeah.
See, didn't need to be
No.
remade. Everybody was fine. Didn't need it.
No,
But
no. What they
why the hell not?
wanted was what they essentially did for Last of Us, or I would say Uncharted 4.
Just more money.
Mhm.
You know.
No,
More
man.
money, more problems.
More money. They got to fund GTA 6 somehow, because
Yeah.
Dude, the rumors on that game is insane.
yeah, because it's
Insane.
it cures cancer. From what I heard, GTA 6,
Right.
GTA 6, you turns your PS4 into PS7, dude.
Ooh.
You know what else I heard? I heard
What?
that it's actually going to make Marvel use a few less movies.
Oh my god, you're
I
ridiculous.
heard that one, bro.
No, the strike's doing that for
Oh
you.
my god, you're too much.
So, all right. So let's talk some Xbox news
Yeah.
and we got some PlayStation news. So Xbox announced with Starfield coming out, they are coming out with console wraps. So it is their
Day
answer
one.
to PlayStation doing their side plates.
I'm not gonna lie, I really like this idea.
That looks sick. That does look sick.
Because a lot of YouTubers and people are kind of saying like this can kind of eliminate the problem
So-
of collector's editions, where they could just be like, hey, collector's edition, if you want to get a controller, wrap combo,
I mean,
or just the wrap.
the
but-
Starfield controller was already nice to begin with, right?
but I
And
mean,
so
like,
were the
that's-
headphones.
So are the
This is-
headphones. The headphones are pretty sweet.
Like,
but this
that-
is actually pretty
Yeah,
nice.
I like the idea. I
that
really
skin
do.
looks really good.
And
I'm
look
down
how
for that.
easy it is. Like, dude, wait until what's the next one going to come out? Get
Well,
that. Like, oh, just
there's-
unwrap it. Boom, got it. Like, I really do like this idea.
No,
I mean, they're going to launch on October 18th for $50 a piece. That's not terrible.
Nope.
Being we're paying what, 60 for the plates for
Yeah.
the PS5s. And they're doing camo ones. So
That's a little
Oh,
they're gonna
much.
do the-
eventually,
Aren't
just
they?
like their
That's cool,
controllers,
but-
you're going to be able to custom them
Yeah.
possibly. But this is just
And-
the start. Like, I really like this idea.
And then when we go back and look at, the Starfield one, right? I would
That one's so
love
cool.
to have ones
oh,
where
I would totally
I could
get
just
that.
pull off a wrap and be like, hey, this is, I want to play I'm playing Halo right now. Give me a Halo wrap. Could you imagine
Oh,
what that
dude,
would look
right?
like? Or Forza.
I mean,
I can
how-
imagine they'll come out with a new one for Forza Motorsport.
Oh,
I just
dude,
wanna
a
know how
Street Fighter
quick
and a
and
Persona
how
one
easy
every
it is.
year.
How quick
was
and
that?
easy is it to put that on, though?
Super
Dude,
easy.
it's
It's just-
straight
it's
up.
literally
Dude,
a
it's
wrap.
part magnetic, and then I think
Hmm.
Velcro or magnetic when you wrap it around, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Because it's
Actually, yeah, I think it's all magnetic.
Made with solid core panels that are layered with high-tech fabric finishes. The wraps are folded around your console and secured with a hook and loop enclosure.
Hook
So
and
it's a
loop.
Oh,
quick
okay,
hook and loop. That's it.
cool.
Super quick.
because it just seems like it's going to be one of those things where yes, it's going to be cool, but you're going to just buy one and that's it. Like you're not gonna. You don't need it.
No,
and like
I
crazy.
mean, that depends when they start coming out with more. I think,
And these
like
two, when you
I
look
would
at
buy
it, right,
multiple. Yeah,
these ones are going to be 45 when they launch in November. So, so you're going to basically have the basic ones, and then you're going to have special edition ones for like $5 more. I think that's
I'm
brilliant.
down.
Like, to your
Yeah,
point,
I like the idea.
I'd be all over it,
Yeah.
depending on what
I
it
know.
is. So,
Because then that
know.
eliminates the disappointment of like, oh man, I like that other console, that special edition, but I'm not going to spend another 400,
Well,
500 for
and
another
these are
console while I
only-
bought,
and they're only on the Series X's. So
Yeah.
that's
one is that?
$500.
What's-
That's the refrigerator.
fridge.
Refrigerator.
The
Yeah.
fridge. It's not for the speaker box. It's for the fridge.
Thank you.
Speaker
Can we not use X and S? And
afraid the speaker box?
man.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I'm down. I got you. I got you,
like,
Jay.
yep.
God, I know what a PS4 is. I know what a PS5 is, but when you start going X, like
now here's the
Xbox
thing
fridge.
is, I have to give major kudos to Xbox with what they're doing with their customizations for their consoles by doing the wraps, but also just like all the different controllers they do. Like even when you look at this one, we talked about this one a couple of weeks ago, but the Stormcloud Vapor this controller is just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, it's not bad.
like
And you compare that to what
I don't get it, man. Like I don't understand this like the aesthetic and all that stuff, man. I don't understand.
I love it.
Like
maybe
like
different
you
controllers.
guys need to like explain it to me because like I'm just does it work? Yes. All right, good enough. You know.
Well, no, it's just kind of a collector status and more of a person, like making it more personal. Like that controller is that the controller I use, 90% of the time because it's my favorite color and it's what I do my gaming.
I rocked a 20th anniversary PS4 controller.
Oh, dude, I use that one forever.
Like I understand when you're traveling to like for example, Evo, everybody's got their own little fight stick. So yes, it has to be like a little bit customized to like stickers or whatever you want to do. But like when you're at home, when you're like just hanging out with the buddies, like, oh, like we bring our Switch over and when we bring our Switch, we have
and the other thing is once again, multiple controllers because battery life. Once that one dies, switch to the other one.
Yeah, which I get having two. I have a black and a white controller. That's it. Like,
hold on. Why a black one?
Why a white one? Because one was given to me because it was bought with the system,
which is the white one. But why'd you go out and buy a black one? Why not a white one?
Well, because they didn't have the white one in. It didn't matter to me. I could care less.
I just like the option of just making it more personal, like to me, right?
No,
it's
I
my
want
controller.
to ask the viewers out there,
on
our listeners, like, yo, like, give us a shout out.
I honestly feel like it's a collector kind of like thing.
Oh, collector's editions are different. I get that, but like when it's just
collecting in general, I feel like that's kind of like
not even
essence what it's kind of.
Let me put it this way: if I had the option between when I went to get my Xbox controller, if I could have, it was either this one or the Storm Vapor one, I would have gone Storm Vapor in a heartbeat instead of just getting a plain black one,
right?
Because everything's black nowadays or everything's white. There's no.
Because that's the standard. It's what comes with the console. That's why you once again you kind of want to personalize your accessories because it's about
It's why I have an Animal Crossing Switch. It's why Jerry has a Zelda OLED. Because we love the looks of them. That's
why I still regret trading in my God of War PS4. That one was awesome. I loved that one, but I wanted a PS5.
Let's talk about question marking choices and this baby.
I was really hoping that was a gag. I no joke.
So part of me is like,
I don't get it.
Okay, so let's do the
the moment I swear to God, the moment you get gamer rage, anything, boom, like
for all the listeners out there,
so fragile.
So we are looking at the picture of the PlayStation Portal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is basically it's an 8-inch 1080p 60 hertz 60 FPS screen that is molded in between two halves of a DualSense.
To put it frank, it looks like a Chinese Switch.
It looked like
honestly, no.
The
best way
it's weird.
It does look like a Chinese Switch.
It's like the backbone.
Not to like diss the Chinese people, but
no, it's like you bought it off a Wish in some ways,
Yeah, you bought off Wish, you bought off Temu.
So let's look at it, right? It is there's a whole bunch of stuff coming out with this, right? It is going to be, it's what we call the Project Q. It's an LCD display, so it's not going to be an OLED like the original Vita or, you know, some of the Switches out there.
Already sucks.
It is, you know, it's got an what they call an HD display. I mean, it looks.
I feel like this is like their solution to like the portable part of the Switch. Like they're this is their whole remote play, but
this is like the Wii U. Let's talk about it. So the touch screen is the touchpad from the DualSense. The buttons are in the places you would expect them. Now, here's where things get real dicey, is that if you have a pair of headphones that have a 3.5 millimeter headphone out, you can plug them in. Okay. Now, if you have a pair of Bluetooths like our AirPods, which I can currently connect my AirPods to both my Switch and my Vita. Okay. They will not connect to the new PlayStation Portal. Okay. Because they're using a new thing called PlayStation Link. So the new earbuds that are coming out for $150, those will work with the PlayStation Portal, because it's
so instead of
PlayStation
having
Link.
One set of earbuds, you have to buy a separate pair because that only connects to your Portal.
Correct.
They'll
have Bluetooth.
Then I would just use
getting
my,
a charging
my
base and whatnot. When we look more so at everything now, so it's gonna be $199 for this. Okay, so let's get into the meat of this. It requires your PS5 to be on a strong network because it's going to utilize remote play, and it's not going to be like cloud streaming like xCloud does and what Xbox does with their things. It's going to be directly streaming from your PS5 to this handheld, and your handheld has to be on a very strong Wi-Fi network to receive everything. Nobody can use your PS5 while you're playing it because it's remote play. So that's a downside. $199. So there's no guarantee that you can travel with this and have it work, right? You can't download games to it because there's no internal memory for this to have any games on it whatsoever.
So it only matters to what you have downloaded on your console,
on your PS5,
or what disc is in your PS5 console when you leave.
Yep.
That's it. So
I'm having a really hard time to be okay with the $199.
You can't do PlayStation Now with it in terms of the streaming capabilities, from a server to this device, right? It has to come from your PS5. So it's going to be a straight direct streaming from your system type of thing. So it is going to be $199. Now, the upside to this is if you want to play in bed or something like that, you're kind of going to bed. For those that have a PS5,
that's a hefty
in another
$200
I get that. I mean, it is an upside. If you want to do that,
that's a weak upside, bro.
No,
I honestly, with everything it just does not do. I would really consider knocking off 30 more bucks.
Not even, at least. Dude. This doesn't need to happen, dude. This does not.
Yeah, but it's here. But I don't know. $199 still seems a bit.
So I don't know. Now let's compare that, right? So for instance, it says that it requires a broadband internet Wi-Fi, with at least 5 megabits per second for use for a better play experience, a high-speed connection of at least 15 megabits per second. I'm sorry, but my job has a higher recommendation to use our tools than this does. It's just saying. From an IT perspective, right? And we're not even streaming games. We're just doing our basic applications for work. Let's put that in comparison. You can get a Switch Lite for $200
and do way more.
I mean, I don't want Sony to go down the Apple route You know, I just don't. They just need
Agreed.
to stick to their guns.
Apple
to
is
their guns.
Apple. You know,
Well,
you like
you know how I always
Mhm.
talk mad on Apple. You know, like
Oh yeah,
you know,
I know.
and
I know.
Sony does not need to do this. Like, what are you doing? Have you not learned from the PSP? Have you not learned from the Vita? Have you not learned anything at all?
So
That
what they did learn is
Stop.
that a direct competitor to Nintendo in the form
Loses.
of a Vita loses hardcore.
I mean, like you could throw
Oh.
anything you want at the wall, Sony, and it's still not gonna. You're not gonna get this handheld like thing that you're going for. You know, like just leave it alone. Let Nintendo.
I
get their
think if
W
they went
in the
more,
handheld.
I think if they went more of the Vita route and had it more like Bluetooth oriented and like, I do think it would have been more of a heavier handheld. But I think there's still a market for a still market and demand for the Vita. But it would just have to offer a lot though, like not only just remote play, but like you can like wirelessly play your games, stuff like that.
So I would
But I
think it would
still
have
think
to
there's a
do.
market for
No,
it.
you cannot. Because unless you start going the old games where like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, maybe even PlayStation 3 to a certain degree, like what you're asking for graphically that people want in a Sony product, a Sony game, you're not going to get that at all in handheld. It's impossible. Like logistically, like can you
Even
imagine
with what they can do now, really?
well, yeah, because can you imagine having like a what is it like
you
a
could
10
do.
a 10K like whatever the hell the newest TV
But-
resolutions thing is, something in the size this big, like you have to be like this close to it, like you got to be all up
Well,
in
here's the thing though: is
grill.
the screen's going to be 1080, right? So you're still getting PS4 graphic fidelity out of it, right? But here's my thing: you're also going to have a battery life that's only the lifespan. They're expecting it to be about the lifespan of a DualSense,
So, like,
which
4
has
hours.
a shitty lifespan. Now, that being said, though,
No.
the Switch in itself, right, the original model only ran for 2.7 hours if you were running Breath of the Wild. So that's not a terrible comparison.
Yeah.
I think they should have gone more the Vita route. I get it. You're not going to be able to dethrone Nintendo. I'm sorry. Nintendo is on.
No, but
they're
I
on a
think there would have been
different
more
level,
of a
but if you had
demand if the Vita was like kind of revamped as
Even-
like a remote play accessory,
remote
not
play?
to compete with Switch, but to
Yeah,
be like a high-end accessory.
But I think
for
what
the
you-
PS5.
That's what
you should
that's
have
what they're
had-
trying to do with this.
But it doesn't
But-
offer very much really, and what it does offer, the requirements are ridiculous.
I would love it is, okay, so you do something like this in its form factor. Let's just keep it in its same form factor, right? Fine. It's kind of like a knockoff Switch, the way they're trying to do it, right?
Right.
Which, no offense, I saw John Ebo, who we've had on before, right? He did a TikTok. It's like how Sony comes up with their next ideas, and it's like always Nintendo doing something, right? It's like they do the Wii U with the extra gaming pad.
Yeah.
Hey, here's the PlayStation Portal. Oh, we're gonna do Labo. Oh, here's PlayStation VR. They come out with the Wii, the Wiimotes. Hey, we're gonna come out with what is it?
That
The
baton thing.
PlayStation Play or whatever it was, right?
Oh God, yeah, I remember that.
So, but I think what they should, even if you kept it in the
PlayStation
form
Move.
factor, PlayStation Move. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think what they should have done is you could still keep the form factor, but it needed to have capabilities of memory on it. So even if you could drop a terabyte SD card or, whatever it is, right? At least give it something that you can drop onto the console or into the console, and you could at least download your games. So God of War, Final Fantasy, whatever it is, right? You could download it to the console, and then you could at least play the console without having to be dependent on Wi-Fi.
Even that, I would say, would be worth the $200 price tag.
I'd pay $250 on something like that. Honestly, if it's coming from PlayStation, right, to be able to play the caliber games they have, $250, I think would have been a max you could have gotten out of that. because then at that point,
Possibly, actually,
if you
yeah.
go 300, then people are going to go, well, with the
Oh, no.
Switch, I can dock it. I can, hook it up to the TV. I don't need anything with it.
Yeah.
So I think they needed to have an option that allowed you to download your games to the console if you own them digitally.
I think at the very least for the $200 price tag. But with it as it now, I just don't think it's worth it.
It's
at
a
all.
lot of it is just like no.
Yeah.
Just no.
I mean, it's really just banking on remote play, and that's already iffy.
And honestly, how often do you guys really use remote play? Like, honestly,
dude, never. I've used it. I've tested it out like maybe once or twice.
Yeah, and I think we've only done it once, Jerry. That's it. Like,
yeah.
I mean, honestly, xCloud's better. Like, I can play it on my iPad, my laptop with a controller, and I'm playing right on the cloud. I don't need anything to be streaming from home. Because when it comes down to it, right, is with xCloud, yes, I've got latency to the nearest data center, right? Mm-hmm. But with streaming from your console, you're going to have your home network. Whoever's using devices on your home network is going to potentially slow it down. Then you're going to have to go 1,800 hops to wherever you are. And then you're going to have to bank that your hotel Wi-Fi, which is being used by everybody else, is going to be strong enough to be able to play the game too. So I think that's the unknown. I get what they're trying to do with this. I think though, if you're going to do something like this, you probably should have just gone the route of a Switch.
They needed to offer more. They need to offer more on the.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's just. We'll see. Like, I'm really curious. Like, I'm really curious to watch some reviews and unboxings and some failed videos. Dude, I guarantee we're gonna see some people accidentally breaking it or
break that
twist it. Yeah, dude. Those are coming.
Yes.
Just like the Wiimotes, bro. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So looking at it from a family perspective, right? So if you have your, one of the reasons I like the Switch is because I can, even the Vita, I can go sit out with the playroom and the kids and still play my games and stuff like that. So I think for a family that has like one PS5 that's sitting in one location, say kids want to take over the TV and whatever, I think this is pseudo attractive. It's not like highly attractive.
Possibility.
It's a possibility.
But once again, that's like a niche. It's not situation.
I think,
and also it depends on the household on how
because
if they can just truly just afford it and just buy it. Like,
well, I mean, like for example, when me and my wife want to play games, like I'll always play on the PlayStation 5 and she'll always want to play on the Switch. So like, what happens? I get the TV because it's tied to the PlayStation 5. She goes to the Switch and plays portable. Like, it doesn't need to work the other way around. You don't need to put the Nintendo Switch on the TV.
Why not?
And then now I'm going to be portable.
Why not?
What? I mean, you could, but I mean, like, you want to spend
why
another $200?
Like,
yeah,
that, I might as well just get myself another PS5.
Might as well just get a Switch, right?
Exactly.
Isn't that the
and that's what we're talking about.
We've been pointing, like, and it already happens. Like, Nintendo does not need to do it.
I guess the general consensus on it is that it's just not practical. We don't see it as practical.
Literally the only like feasible way is like, if the kids want to play, let them play on the TV. That's fine. Like, oh, okay, then I'll play it on.
Your scenario would work.
Yeah, but for me, that rate, for Jerry, at this point, we're just like, yo, dude, that's just dumb.
That rate.
Like, that just means I just don't walk the few feet from my bed to my desk to turn on my PS.
But at that rate,
like, nah, bro, right? we're the.
I've got too far. I've got too far, bro.
There we go. I barely moved.
At that rate, though, right? I might as well just have a controller sync Bluetooth to my iPad, and I might as well do remote play with my iPad.
There you go.
Instead of using controller.
Yeah.
The only difference is that this is more form functional compared to a Switch than setting up your iPad somewhere and sitting there with a controller, right?
And it also doesn't have
I would just, like, for me, I would just designate it as a high-end impractical accessory.
Yeah, I mean, like, plus you're
I
paying for
think they
that,
dropped the ball on this
that
one.
good old
Mhm.
PlayStation logo, sir.
Now like you can't go wrong with updating
Want me to put one
headphones
on
and
it?
and
Yeah.
and ear pods. Like I think they both look good,
I think-
and those are going to probably do well. But
But at the same
I
time,
don't-
I
I don't
think
know
that's a
about it.
miss too, by basically saying if you want to wear, wireless headphones, you have to use PlayStation Link ones. You can't use any other.
Well, for
wireless
that,
headset.
like we don't know. Like, can you connect them to the PS5?
Apple?
No, you only
They're
headphones.
just for
No,
Yeah.
so those headphones you can hook to everything else, but it's vice
Oh,
versa,
okay.
right? You cannot connect Apple headphones to this, right?
What?
You have
What
to use
is-
Oh,
PlayStation
no.
Link.
right.
So to
Sony
Jason's
getting
point,
Apple? Sony's getting a little Apple on them, like a little. You can't use this because we control all the products that we own now.
I just think it's funny, right, that Jim Ryan hated the Vita and its portability,
Yeah.
that he decided, we're not going to go another PlayStation Vita route, and then comes out with this.
Yeah,
Portable,
I mean, it's technically not a Vita route. It's just like a controller route. So if you want to pay $200 for a new controller, hey, just like we were talking about earlier, guys, you could get this. It's going to be a collector. It's pretty much a controller with a screen on it.
See, no. See, I like
What?
first of all, I'm already selective with that stuff, and it also has to be themed. That's why I
theme is lose your money,
get
sir.
that Halo Elite Series one, but no, I'm not going to get this.
Yeah.
Theme is lose your money. Like, it's
No, there's no point.
You
No point for me.
If Sony comes out with a Sony
In my
stand,
situation.
that's it. I'm done.
A Sony what?
The Sony stand, what was it? The $400 iStand?
Oh my god! Shut
Oh,
up,
God.
dude! Shut up! Oh my
The
god!
Sony stand,
yeah, or the wheels too. The wheels were
the
considered
Sony
something.
Pony. That's what we'll call it. The Sony Pony. You dock your PS5 like your controller right there.
Now that
So
being said, though,
ridiculous.
Like a
let
pony,
me real quick. So before we kind of start looking to close things out, let me put this out there, right? We know that the Wii U walked so the Switch could run. Could this be PlayStation testing the waters, kind of like the Wii U? And that this may be kind of what we may be looking at for a form factor for a PS6, where it may go the route of a Switch where you can dock it or you can take it on the go.
That's very insightful. I think that's very insightful. That is, I think, a possibility.
I think it,
I don't know. Like,
I think yes.
Especially with the final the final form that they are really releasing. It just really worries me though, because that thing just doesn't look practical. It doesn't look like it's going to be sturdy. I don't know.
Well, the Wii U tablet wasn't practical either.
Oh yeah,
right?
the Wii U was.
Yeah, that's true. It was like it was an accessory.
It was
true.
nice. It was
nice. It was fun.
It was the prototype.
But it did not add anything really to it. It really just was a giant controller that like you can have your menu on a screen pretty much, or your inventory.
I mean, there were some games that absolutely used it, like Mass Effect 3. You could use the screen to actually move your
teammates,
the teammates around, right? You could use the stylus to draw them to go to different places. It was there were some games that made very, very good use of
but that's the thing, right? Some games,
the tablet.
Some games, I think this could very well be testing the waters, because we know we still have quite a few years left on the PS5.
Oh yeah, but that's true. And this could be a prelude to what is to come. Who knows if the screen's going to be smaller and like the controllers might be a little bigger, but have a screen on it. You never know. But who knows?
I just look at it as being like mobile gaming is a big thing. Mobility, even over graphics, as much as we love a lot of these graphics that even like Starfield's putting out and everything like that, is that it is the Switch has proven a lot of people want portability on their console. They want to just be able to take it on the go wherever they want to go. And
yeah.
I mean, you look at how many
I think
Switches have been sold.
the want and like the curiosity and the want for that kind of option, I think is more and more frequent. And I think more and more people are are appeal to that option.
Again, okay. Like, you don't see a lot of people bringing Switches and whatever's to your workplace for your 30-minute lunch break. No, right? Well,
there was a couple of people that I worked with that when we were on
I do.
site, we all had our Switches and
I've,
Vitas and stuff with us.
even
So
in
it's-
catering, I have someone who'll bring their Switch. Like if we have a little time in between. Yeah.
okay. Far and
Yeah.
few in between, though.
I-
You know, like for the most part.
I would say it's more frequent, man. I really do see a lot
Really?
more Switches out there. Yeah.
Okay, because like 30 minutes is not a lot of time, you know, like
Oh, I'm not just talking about like lunch breaks and stuff like that. Like when I'm
Public transportation.
or like
public transportation, yes.
wherever I'm doing
So
my
I didn't
events.
say public transportation. I just said literally when you go to work, you know, when you're at work, you're given
The places that I go
breaks,
for my drop-offs or deliveries, like like some of the schools or stuff like that. Like, yeah, I see a lot of Switches, bro.
So
okay,
speaking of Switch,
can I finish my
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
my
Go ahead.
thought? If you work a 9 to 5 job, regular 9 to 5 job,
Okay.
right? You're given what, 2 breaks and a lunch, 30 minutes, about 10, 10, 15, 15, you know. So you get about an hour of play. Yeah, cool. You can bring it. You know, that's cool. You know, do you, you know, that's fine. But you're also going to have to bring in like that fact that you're always going to have it around with you. It's got to be portable. It's got to be small. That's fine. I know that's what PlayStation's trying to go for right now. The one thing that if PlayStation wants to continue on this little portable path that they've been always wanting to try and like be a competitor to Nintendo
and somehow always screw it up.
Yeah. You know, the one thing that they do really need to focus on that will set them apart is that ability with the touch, like their touch, the dual sense pad and that haptic stuff like that, because they're leading the charge in that right now. But what they're not doing is they're not capitalizing on it. What happened with Nintendo when they had the Wii U? It was terrible, but it came out to be the Switch because it's the screen, controllers, very simple, very lightweight, instant 2-player game, no matter where you go. You know, boom, classic Nintendo move. Classic Nintendo move.
Yep.
But PlayStation, what they've always come out with is something different. 6-axis, never used, maybe twice. Touchpad, never used.
Starhawk,
maybe twice.
PlayStation Move.
You know,
and to your point, right? That touchpad is hardly used on games other than to bring up a menu or
bring up a menu or like let me.
Actually, they really incorporate gestures for it. With
even then, Vita, like Killzone was great. Like the touchpad to the back of the Vita, correct? Like that barely got used.
How many times was that used? But they were like, oh yeah, you could use the back of it now. How many times was that used? Twice, maybe.
Not much.
Like I remember,
it depending on the game and how they incorporated it, which was like
they
1 or 2 times.
All these great ideas for games that can have a lot of potential, but they don't do it. They just sit on it. They say, hey, you know what? We have haptic feedback in our controllers. Okay, like you feel it here and there now and then, but it's never like.
Even then, like, and I think that's where I hate to say it. I think that's where, in some cases, Xbox is excelling is that they're not doing the gimmicks. They're just doing straight up.
Xbox is leading the charge in what? Accessibility.
Correct.
Xbox leads the charge in accessibility. Nintendo leads the charge in multiplayer and family and fun. Sony, you keep driving like these new, like, what the heck are you doing? But you don't capitalize on it. That's what they need to capitalize. If this Project Q or what was it now called? Project Q.
PlayStation Portal.
If that needs to come out swinging hard, it's got to do something with that touch, like touch dual sense, haptic, whatever they want to do, whatever they want to push for it. Because if they don't, then it's just going to be another Vita. It's going to be another PSP, just throw
As
it
a
think
dead
they
accessory. Yeah.
They missed
that
a golden opportunity, right, to strike now. If they could have brought out a handheld, because the Switch is at the end of its life cycle. We know that, right? We know they have to
Not
come out with a
really.
Switch 2.
I mean,
Well,
there is
The second one is coming. That's what we
But
mean.
but
The
it's
second
showing
Switch
its
is
age,
coming.
right? The Switch, current Switch is showing its age.
But it's
badly.
again, like the time between Nintendo
But
things.
no, I get that. But they could have.
They don't match
they
up
brought
with
out
the
a
regular.
if they brought out a portable unit, kind of like we were talking about, had the ability to load your games and stuff on it through an SD card or whatever, right? You would have had a better opportunity to strike while the iron's hot before that Switch 2 drops.
If it just offered a little bit more, I think it's kept with the $200 price tag, it would have been a high-end accessory. I would have.
It doesn't need to offer more. It needs to offer something that they can expand on. Something like you don't, when you go, like, for example, when you buy Magic cards, you don't buy the same old sets, right? You buy the new ones because they go out of
Totally
rotation.
Agree, but I'm also I'm just arguing the fact of this.
More valuable because they're no longer in production.
Right.
Same thing here. Like Sony keeps coming out with new ideas that they're not really thinking of, or like something's way out of left field, but they don't capitalize on it. They just like let it sit, linger, and like, oh, like let's throw.
Well, they rest on their laurels because they think that is the experience. Okay, that's what we're offering.
Let's have the devs go at it, and the devs are like, dude, I don't know what to do with this, because like you don't expand on it, you don't keep building on it. You just like, oh, hey, this is what you can do now. Okay, all right, let's try to throw something on there, and if it doesn't work, then we just say, oh yeah, it was just like a little bonus thing, and we didn't expect it to do this, But like Nintendo thought out. Xbox is thinking out now. Like back in the beginning, I was like, but now since they're leading accessibility, like boom, oh yeah, like I wouldn't, if I needed something accessible via Xbox, let's do it. You know where they're going.
And honestly, like I think, with the controllers, right? I think too is like Xbox is just like, let's just play games. We don't need to go with haptics and all this other stuff. Let's focus on just the games experience themselves, because to be fair, right, haptics, it's okay. Like,
I mean, again, how many
I don't
times
need to feel I don't need to feel like the bow string being pulled back harder, right? Or harder to pull back something, or the feel of a gun, right?
I like that. I mean, that's
some
the whole point
people
of
like it, but
I think, once again, it depends on the game and what it offers. Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, it's niche.
It's niche, but I mean,
it should not be niche. That's what you're arguing. Exactly. I get that. I understand that.
Because like I had so much fun playing Astro Playroom because of how they're doing all that happening. That was so much fun.
I loved going over the rocks and feeling the
that was fun.
Yeah. Or like
the rocks, or the rain. Like that was my favorite part, is feeling the raindrops.
Yeah.
That was great.
Expand that haptic, like expand on that.
But again, a lot
of
of developers aren't doing it. So
because it's why would you need to have this like extraordinary? But if you have Sony have a game that pushes it forward, or like bam, shoves it in your face, and it hits, oh, that's it, man. It's gonna be like hitting the lotto.
Actually, that's a great argument, because then that also, if they did that with the Portal, they can incorporate that to be way more of an immersive like experience. Like, especially if you wanted to like pull up your map or something, you can have an animation where like you have to wipe it because you're in the cold, because you're in like a snow planet or something. Like, you can incorporate way more,
because AR.
Boom.
So
something like that. You need something like that if you have it in your Portal.
So real quick, tomorrow is a Nintendo Direct for Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Oh, nice.
Is that a game you're already buying, or B, do you need the Direct to decide whether or not you're going to get it?
I already have a pre-order. Yeah,
get the game.
I'm going to get it. It's Mario. Yeah, and it's a new game. It looks good. It already looked fun. I'm interested. So piqued my interest. I'm in.
Maybe I really probably won't get it. Like I'm not a
See, I'm a 2D side-scrolling Mario fan. I love those.
So this is all you.
Oh,
Yeah.
This is right in my
all you.
wheelhouse.
Yeah.
Now, if they were coming out tomorrow and saying, "Oh yeah, here's Mario Odyssey 2," I'm gonna look at that and go, okay. Kind of like Jason with this, right? I'm gonna be like,
I would also look at that too. I
mean, like,
I just don't like the 3D Mario games. I don't.
I'm not into Mario as much as I was before. This is it. You know,
Mario's getting abused in this household right now.
Man. It happens.
Understandable.
No, it happens.
So with that, I just want to see some better content than just the trailer, just to kind of see some of the new mechanics, than they've already shown off.
If it's a direct, they're going to show
like what does the
elephant,
they're
going to be in depth on something.
What can you do as the elephant, right? Because like every other thing is like a Cat Mario or in 3D World or the Tanuki suit, the
leaf,
acorn, the leaf, all of that stuff. It actually had some function. So I want to see what the elephant can do.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Anyway, so for all those that are catching the video on YouTube when we get this released, as well as when you take a listen to it this weekend, please leave that comment on what your thoughts are on how you feel the PlayStation Portal is, what its future could mean for PlayStation. Is it just going to be another gimmicky thing that they test the waters on, then all of a sudden it's gone? You out, and what are your hopes for the Mario Wonder Direct? So if you're tuning in tonight and this night was the first time catching us, thank you for joining us and thank you for crashing game night with us. It's our pleasure to always do these for you week in, week out. Hopefully it gave you a little bit of distraction, and this week especially, for our listeners, maybe it helped you reminisce about some of those favorite movies that you kind of grew up with and music wise and whatnot. If you liked what you heard, make sure you hit that follow button on the platform of your choice. You can find all those different platforms we're carried on crashinggamenight.com. And as always, guys, especially right now with the climate of the world in terms of everything that's going on, I know the States are about to get super crazy with some of the things that are about to start happening over the next 6 months related to different things here, as well as the hurricanes and stuff. Just honestly, guys, just please remember, just be excellent to each other.
That's right, everybody. Let's just try and be safe. Snuggle in, snafe.
That's a new word.
Let's all be snafe and snuggle up and kind of stay indoors and make some tea or some hot chocolate. And once again, let's
middle of summer.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, maybe wait on the hot chocolate or tea. But once again, let's send out that same message. Let's try and be a little bit more patient, have a little bit more compassion, spread some more love out there. And overall, let's just try and be and do better and just try and help out if we can.
Indeed.
Thank you all. And Jay Bone.
Yo.
To you, my bro.
Yo.
Thank you, nerds. Thank you all.
Yeah, from the West Coast to East Coast, hopefully the hurricanes don't hurt you too badly. I know Florida is kind of used to it, which is sad but true.
Yeah.
But it's still safe
Stay
out there.
Yeah.
It's still safe out there. As always, we'll want to promote that it's going to be Labor Day this next weekend. Hopefully you guys will have a good, safe Labor Day. We're back in schools now. Sorry for all the people at UNC. Hopefully everything goes well over there. But yeah, my man Theo's not here today, so a little saddened, but it's okay. Somebody goes to Shishima
because Jason, it's because the chicken waits for no one.
Chicken wait for no one. Chicken waits for no one.
Chicken waits for no one.
But no, for you, Matt, though, because I know you enjoy it. B goes to Tsushima, got the white. Because you gotta respect. You gotta show the respect. So but yeah. Till then, guys, I you know what? I should close it out. So
do it, y'all.
Go for it.
My man, me. Send this out like Theo does. Well, guys, till next time, TTFN. Ta for now.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah, yes.
Not bad. I like it.
Just do it again, Jay. Give me that thumbs up.